Hi, boys and girls.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Your Story Hour program.
Say, Aunt Carol, I'm sure all of our listeners are eager to hear today's story. After all, last time we were all together, we had to leave our story at a very critical point.
Oh, yes, Uncle Dan, you're certainly right about that. Just as our program ended, Sacajawea was guiding the famous explorers Lewis and Clark westward across territory virtually unknown to white men.
Yes, and I seem to remember they were in some serious trouble. The boat they were in was...
Whoa, Uncle Dan. We're going to rejoin our story just at that exciting moment.
Well, then, let's get started.
You got it. I call today's story Sacajawea, Indian Guide. After weeks of travel westward, the expedition party, which included a hardy group of adventuresome explorers accompanying Meriwether Lewis and William Clark, found themselves navigating the rough, flood-swollen waters of the Missouri River. Sacajawea, her infant boy named Pomp, and Sacagawea's husband, Toussaint Charbonneau, the supposed guide of the expedition, along with expedition member Cruzant, were struggling to stay afloat in one of the 8 boats. Their boat, like the others in the party, was equipped with a sail, but it was proving to be no match for the treacherous waters, high winds, and turbulent currents the group was facing.
Hold fast! Tie down the sail! It's too dangerous!
It's so rough! I can't pull it down!
This is a fine fix, Sharpener!
Oh, let's see you do better, Cruzant.
Even your wife can do better!
Sacajawea! Are you and the baby all right?
Fine.
I'll take the helm, Captain.
What kind of guide are you? You'll drown us all!
I'm perfectly capable.
Rock! Port side! Port side! The boat's tipping! Sit down, Charbonneau!
Don't tip us over for sure!
Sit down, will you?
We're sinking! Help! I can't swim!
My baby!
We're all going to drown!
Stop yelling and help your wife! Sacajawea, are you all right? What are you doing?
Suddenly, the group's focus was on Sacajawea. This brave girl, in spite of her own personal danger and that of her child, was calmly collecting the expedition's supplies as they began to float away on the water, which was rushing in and out of the boat.
Don't worry, Captain. I have our things. I have them.
Cut away the sail!
Got it, Captain!
It's working! She's coming around!
Let's head for shore!
Just like you, Charbonneau, to run for cover!
Oh, shut up, Cruzant!
That's enough. He's right this time, Cruzant. We need to bail the water out, and Sacajawea can't hold the supplies above her head the whole way to the Pacific. To shore, men!
So, Clark, why did you want us to hike way up here, especially after that ordeal?
You'll see in a few moments. Is Sacajawea coming?
Yes, along with Charbonneau and Pomp.
There it is. There.
There? What? Here, Sacajawea and Pomp. Let me help you up.
Thank you.
Charbonneau, everyone, gather round.
Sure.
Well, what's all that to do about? Why did you want us to come up here?
Do you all see the river? See there, where it flows into the Missouri?
You mean the one whose current almost capsized us?
The very one.
We see it, Captain. What of it?
I am empowered by the U.S. government to name and map anything as yet uncharted.
Oh, now I see where this is going.
And so do I. The river Charbonneau has a nice ring to it.
No.
The Toussaint?
I think he was talking more in the lines of the Sacajawea.
Oh. Well, that's nice, too. Sacajawea. What do you think?
I'm not deserving. Please, I'm just your servant, and I don't...
Nonsense. I'll hear no more of it. The Sacajawea it is.
Thank you, Captain. I'll do my best to live up to this great honor.
You already have, young lady. I think I speak for Captain Clark and myself when I say you've already proven yourself.
During the days which followed, the group proceeded up the Missouri River until they came to a place where the river split into 2 equal-sized branches. One branch, the explorers knew, would lead them westward and nearer to their destination, the Pacific Ocean. But which one was it? How could they choose with no obvious clues?
What do you think, Captain Lewis?
I don't know. Charbonneau, any ideas?
Perhaps you should ask my wife here. We are nearing her homeland.
So, Sacajawea, what do you think?
I heard it said there's a great falls on the river that flows from the mountains. I've never seen the falls myself, but I heard my people talk about it.
Well then, why don't I do some investigating?
Good idea. Let's start down the South Fork.
I'll go on ahead. That way, if it's the wrong way, we won't lose as much time.
That evening, Sacajawea suddenly became ill. Racked with terrible stomach pains, she cried out, in spite of her determination not to complain.
Easy, easy now. Swallow this. It should help with the pain.
Will it work, Captain? Will it make her better?
We'll just have to see. It should help with the pain and control the fever, but we'll just have to wait it out.
As the company progressed upstream, Sacajawea huddled in one of the dugout canoes as the party continued to forge westward. She dreamed strange, fevered dreams, and Captain Clark grew more and more concerned that perhaps she would never recover. Then one happy day...
Sacajawea! Sacajawea, wake up!
Is she going to be all right?
Hopefully. How do you feel?
Weak, but better, I think.
Your fever broke in the night.
Captain!
Don't worry, Charbonneau. Your wife is making progress. She's going to be fine.
No, it's not that. Look, Captain Lewis is coming back into camp.
Merriweather is back? Wonderful! Aha, my friend, back in one piece.
Luckily, this country is infested with grizzlies. I almost became lunch for a few of them.
And what about the falls? Did you find them?
Oh, she was right again. The falls are ahead, maybe 2 days' journey. And William.
Yes?
Thanks for your concern about my almost being eaten by grizzlies.
The falls! Listen, they sound like thunder.
They sound like trouble to me. We're going to have to find a way around them.
The boats are too heavy to carry.
Right, Captain. Especially on a hike like this one's gonna be.
Yeah. Hey, Croissant, listen. I have an idea.
Clark directed the men to cut down some of the nearby trees, and fashioning crude wheels from cross-sections of the tree trunks, the party partly pulled, partly pushed their boats and provisions past the falls. The process took several weeks. During this time, Lewis left the party once again to scout the trail ahead, and Sacajawea, still weak from her illness, rested and grew stronger.
Good morning, Sacajawea. It's time to be on our way. Are you feeling good enough to travel?
I'm strong, Captain Clark.
Are you sure? We'll be going on foot now for much of the way.
I'm sure.
Well then, bring Little Pomp and that husband of yours and let's go.
Carrying Little Pomp on her back in a cradle she had made, Sacajawea tracked across the wilderness strewn with stones so sharp they cut through her moccasins. Yet she did not complain, even when a storm overtook the expedition as they trekked through a deep and treacherous canyon.
We've got to find shelter! Fast!
That rock jutting out over there.
Perfect! Sacajawea, you first! I'm right behind you.
Well, at least it's a little shelter.
Let me help you with the cradle.
Listen!
Sounds like more thunder.
That's not thunder.
Look there! It's a wall of water!
Run! Run!
Charbonneau, help!
He left his wife and child!
Run, everyone! Get to higher ground!
The members of the expedition party frantically clawed their way up the canyon wall in a desperate attempt to escape the flash flood waters which were gushing towards them.
Hurry! Run!
Look at Sacajawea go!
Keep going! We can make it!
Give me your hand, sir!
We're almost there! We're safe. Phew! Sacajawea, are you all right?
I'm fine. But you're very wet.
And you're very fast.
Where's that no good husband of yours?
Cruzant, enough.
But I thought he...
Enough. You're really all right, Sacajawea?
Yeah, I'm fine. But Pump's cradle is lost in the flood.
Well, never mind. I'll see to it he has another one. Even if I have to make it myself.
Sacajawea knew that by now they must be very close to her homeland. As the party traveled along, the trees, sights, and smells were becoming familiar. Then once again, they began following the course of the river, and suddenly, before her eyes loomed an island where the river branched into 3 forks.
This is it. This is the very spot the Minotauri captured me so long ago.
This is where One Eye grabbed you?
Yes, me and Otter Woman, Leaping Fish Woman, and all the others. So long ago, and I haven't been back here in...
What is it?
Well, I wonder if anyone in my family is still alive.
I hope some of your people are still alive, Sacajawea.
We all do.
Well, I, for one, wonder if Captain Lewis is alive. Maybe the locals got him. Huh?
I haven't seen any Indians.
Oh, they're out there all right. Sacajawea has seen them.
Is this true, Sacajawea?
Yes, sir.
What? You haven't said a word.
There's no danger. They're friendly.
How can you be so sure?
The smoke from their fires. It's smoke from a Shoshone hunting party. No danger.
Yeah, good enough. I, for one, have complete trust in Sacajawea. So, let's prepare for our ascent into the mountains. With any luck, Lewis will be waiting with our horses up ahead.
Meanwhile, Lewis and other expedition members had reached the Shoshone encampment, where he tried to communicate with the chief.
Captain Lewis, sir, I'm not sure he understands.
Neither am I, soldier. I don't know the Shoshone language, and the few hand signals I picked up at the Mandan village are the best I can do.
Eventually, in spite of the language difficulties, Lewis managed to convey that his party needed horses, and payment for the horses would be arriving with the other expedition members. Still not entirely sure that these white men meant his people no harm, the Shoshone chief and a large number of his braves accompanied Lewis as he went to the river to meet the boats. Meanwhile, Clark and his company were pulling up to shore.
This is a good spot to make camp. We'll set up here and wait for Lewis.
I don't think we'll have to wait long, sir. Look! Captain! Hello!
Well, I'll be. He must have half the Shoshone tribe with him.
You're right. Double time, men. I want camp set up in 1 hour.
Clark, my good fellow!
I'm glad to see you. These gentlemen behind me seem a bit confused about what I want, or even if we're friendly. So I hope our young Indian friend can help clear up the situation.
I'm sure she can. I'll go get her and we can begin negotiating our trade.
Sacajawea quietly approached and sat in the circle of men negotiating the purchase of the Shoshone horses. She knew women did not usually participate in such important discussions, so she sat shyly, without making eye contact with the men.
Sacajawea, tell the chief we come as friends, please.
Yes, Captain,
As Sacajawea started to speak, she raised her eyes for the first time to look at the Shoshone chief.
Come, wait! My brother!
What? What's going on?
It's me, come, wait! Don't you recognize me?
Grass woman! I can't believe that...
My brother! I thought you were dead!
And I, you!
You are the chief now?
Yes, for many moons. These white men, grass woman, you know their tongue?
Yes, they're my friends, and I hope you will help them. We need horses to continue the expedition.
You shall have your horses, and my hospitality. You may tell your friends they are welcome here.
Oh, thank you. Come, wait, I'm so glad you're alive. Captain Lewis, Captain Clark, the chief. The chief is my brother. He will gladly help you.
That night, Sacajawea and her brother Camawait talked for many long hours. Sadly, she learned that all of her family, except for him and their nephew, were dead. And now she must decide whether she would stay with her people or go with the white men to see the great water to the west. She thought it over carefully and finally decided that since Charbonneau was now her husband and his job was to go with Lewis and Clark, she would continue the journey with them. Soon the expedition party set out to cross the mountains. Unfortunately, bad weather set in, and the group found itself in freezing weather with food and supplies dwindling.
What about the scouting party we sent ahead to hunt?
No good, sir. With all this snow, all the game is gone.
I remember that my tribe came down from the mountains in the winter. We followed the food supplies to the plains.
Well, we still have a few berries and roots that you dug for us, Sacajawea.
And a few candles.
Captain Lewis! Captain Clark!
Yes, Cruzant, what is it?
The men have killed a wolf, sir!
Well then, we'll eat well tonight. Sacajawea is an expert on the best way to cook wolf.
Yes, we will eat well. For tonight.
When hope of surviving in the snowy wilderness had nearly vanished, the weary, starving expedition members noticed that the terrible trail across the mountains was beginning to descend. The weakened but jubilant party soon found themselves in the valley beyond.
Look, my friend. Do my eyes deceive me? Or is that green grass?
Only if we are both deceived, Merriweather. I see it too.
Come quickly, captains! There's a river just beyond the trees, and it's teeming with fish!
Everyone ate fish until they were nearly bursting. Then the men felled trees to build new boats. Once the boats were built and launched, the entire party floated and rowed downstream, taking in the sights along the way.
Well, there's another Indian village. We've seen quite a few, don't you think? We hardly saw any along the Missouri.
Yes. Now we pass village after village.
I hope they won't decide to attack.
Don't worry.
Why? How do you know they won't come after us?
Simple. They can see we have a woman with us, and no Indian would ever take a woman into battle. So?
So they assume we're on friendly business.
Exactly.
That's good enough for me.
When the party reached the Snake River, the story was the same. The Indians, seeing Sacajawea, assumed the group was on a peaceful journey, just as they did later when the group navigated the Columbia River in the northwest corner of the continental United States. Finally, the happy day came when the expedition neared its destination.
Captain? What is it? What is that smell?
Oui, I smell it too.
It's the ocean. That smell, it's the smell of salt water.
We've made it!
The party camped on the south bank of the Columbia River, very close to the place where the city of Astoria, Oregon, stands today.
Captain, is this really the ocean?
No, not right here. We're near the mouth of the Columbia where it begins to widen just before it joins the ocean. But just a little way downriver, or by foot, and you can see the water, the ocean, stretch far away. In fact, it stretches clear across to Asia.
I want to see it, Captain.
Yes, of course. I'll take you myself.
The Indians here say you are not the first white men to see the Pacific Ocean.
Yes, that's true. There have been Spanish, Russian, English, even Americans who have been here before us.
But they say all the others have come by ship across the Pacific. You are the first to come by land.
Yes, that's also true.
And I am the first Indian woman to come with the first white men.
That you are, Sacajawea. That you are.
Because winter was setting in earnest, Lewis and Clark's men immediately began working on a fort in which to live until the weather broke in the spring. Named Fort Clatsop after the Clatsop Indians of that region, the party struggled to stay warm inside, in spite of the cold rain and wind that hammered at its walls. No matter how inclement conditions may have been outside, however, the mood inside the fort was cheerful enough, especially when Christmas time rolled around.
Here's our gift for you, Sacajawea.
We hope you like it.
Oh, these are beautiful beads. Thank you.
And something for the baby.
Here you are, little Pomp.
Look, Pomp, a toy horse. And a boat, too. He'll love them forever. And I have something for you, Captain.
Well, thank you.
They're ermine tails, very precious. Do you like them?
Very much. Well, I know how much these mean to your people. Sacajawea, these are beautiful.
Christmas was a word I did not know. Thank you for telling me about it. I like your Christmas.
We like it too. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Not long after the Christmas celebration, Sacajawea heard the men talking about a whale. This was another word she didn't know. So she asked her husband Charbonneau about it.
It is a fish that breathes air and is about the size of 5 buffaloes put together. They say it has washed up on the ocean beach.
Take me to see it, please.
But Charbonneau was unwilling to take Sacajawea to see the whale. So going to her friend Captain Clark, she repeated her request.
Please, Captain, I want to see the whale. And I have not yet seen the ocean. Please take me.
All right, Sacajawea. I promised I would take you when we first arrived, and we've been so busy. But today is the day. Besides, anybody who has come this far and helped us as much as you have ought to be able to see the ocean and the whale. Let's go.
I hear thunder, but I see no cloud.
That's not thunder, Sacajawea. It's the waves breaking on the shore. You can hear them, even if we can't see them yet. There is the Pacific Ocean.
It's so beautiful. Are those the waves of which you speak?
Indeed they are. And that is the whale.
Oh, I don't know what's more beautiful, the ocean or the whale. But all my life I will remember them both.
On March 23, 1806, the expedition party began their return trip, paddling their canoes away from Fort Clatsop and back up the Columbia River. The trek back eastward was difficult. The explorers were often exhausted, hungry, and cold. They passed through the land of the Shoshone, but saw no one, and when they reached the Missouri River, they followed it to the Mandan village where Charbonneau and Sacajawea had first joined the expedition. Sacajawea and her family decided to stay in the village, and soon it was time for Captains Lewis and Clark to bid them goodbye.
We can never thank you enough. We've all come to love you.
And we know how much we owe you. And something more, Sacajawea. You know I love little Pomp. When he is older, bring him to me, and I'll do all I can for him, just as if he were my own son.
Captains Lewis and Clark boarded their boat and began to paddle away. Holding little Pomp in her arms, Sacajawea waved goodbye until their canoe disappeared in the distance. Within a year, Sacajawea and Charbonneau moved to St. Louis, where Clark gave Charbonneau a job. They lived in a simple log cabin, which Sacajawea thought was the finest place she had ever lived. The record is unclear from this point on. Some say that Sacajawea remained in St. Louis for the rest of her life, but other accounts report that she eventually became the wife of a Comanche chief, and upon his death returned to her Shoshone people, where she lived to be a very old woman. We do know that little Pomp was sent to school by Captain Clark, where he met a German prince who was visiting America. The prince took Pomp home to Europe with him, where he was called Baptiste. He learned many languages, yet the Indian blood within him burned, and he returned to America's West to become a trapper, guide, and translator, and later lived with the Shoshone. If Sacajawea did return to her people, Baptiste would surely have found her. We can only imagine what a joyous reunion that would have been for both of them.